So the moment the illegal immigration bill went through the Commons and moved from it on its final hurdle towards royal assent on presumably Friday, the Volker Turk, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, said that this law, sets a worrying precedent for dismantling asylum obligations not only in countries including Europe, but beyond, and they may be tempted to follow the initiative of Britain. It will have an adverse effect on international refugees and the obligations and on human rights protection as a whole. The whole system will be compromised. The Bibi Stockholm 93-metre rectangular prison barge, which arrived in Dorset and has been both condemned. Well, it's been condemned by both the left and the right. By the left saying it's cruel, which it is, of course, and the right saying that it's a strain on the community. I was going to say it was a stain on the community, but it is also a stain on the community as well. The community will be defined now by that barge and by the brutality that it represents. This law now legally compels the Home Secretary to detain, and B, deport anyone who arrives irregularly. To arrive irregularly would be to transgress the Nationality and Borders Act, because arriving irregularly under the 1951 Refugee Convention, of which we are still signatories, is perfectly legitimate. So it's only the laws which have been drafted and put through this vicious government since November that have defined this absolutely as irregular or indeed illegal. Braverman wanted it to be applied retrospectively. That's not going to happen, and neither are children and pregnant women going to face protracted detention. But they will be detained, and there won't be any positive imagery around the Mickey Mouse and the various cartoons which were in the Manston and various detention centres, which we've already got in practice, and which isn't to include the concentration camps which Suella Braverman is trying to build on disused airports and whatever. So far, we've had 13,200 people arriving by small boats. Not much of a deterrent then, is it, if they've arrived? So what we need to do is to see whether or not a similar number arrive post this law receiving royal assent on Friday, because from that point they can be detained and dispatched. And whether they're dispatched to Rwanda, that's another matter, because at the moment that's still under legal debate, and that's not going to be sorted out until November or so, January maybe, and by that point we're going to be cruising towards an election campaign. I suspect the election campaign will be dominated by threats from the Conservative Party that you, the wokey left, didn't allow us to implement our illegal borders law in its full form, and therefore it's your responsibility. You have compromised our security. You are not in favour of Brexit. You are not national. You are not. You are behaving irrationally. You are behaving unpatriotically, and all that sort of rubbish. Because that language is already out there, and it fills some of the comments below. But please add your own comments. Let's see what where this story goes. Yvette Cooper, by the way, has said about the government now that it's lost all common sense and decency because of this. Because of this. Of course it has.